Now I made that segment different because I will do some kind of clip from this long video we have. Because I got two channel, and this will go on my replay commentary channel, and this clip will go on my other channel. So I have a
Okay.
love and hate relationship toward medium tank. I used
Okay.
to think they were amazing, they were OP, they were so good,
Yeah.
but then I realized after playing many games, they are a good unit, don't get me wrong. They cost a lot of money, they pay themselves back, but here's the downside. They are not as good as two tanks. They are not as good as a battlecopter and a tank. Now I say that, but I say that only in Fog of War. I don't know about Standard, I don't know about iPhones. I'm a Fog player. Now, why I think battlecopter tank is better? Vision, mobility, front shifting. It's much faster to front shift copters in tank. Medium tank take forever to front shift, and they are just that really big wall. Like, they will crush any lower cost unit outside of like maybe battlecopters, because battlecopters are just that good. But here's the thing, they are slow, they are wall, they are easy to like move around. And it took me a long time to realize that. And it also took me many games where I wasn't understanding why I was losing that good spot I was in. And I did a few replay commentary with Matt Blitz. He's a high-rated player, really strong. He's not as known as Kanpai or Go 7, but he is really good, and I learned a lot from him. He is in the 1200s, so he's really strong. And one of our game did stick in my mind. I was Sasha, he was Hawk, and at some point I was like, oh, let's take up because take up is cool. And when we covered the replay commentary, he actually told me he doesn't really like take up because less tanks, less engagement. It's just a big unit. Now,
Yeah.
I say that, and I will repeat myself. Medium tank are not a bad unit. They are just not as good as tank and battlecopters. And does this mean I will stop making these? No, because I have a love and hate relationship. I know how good they are, but I also know how blind they are. So in Fog of War, having too many of them is wrong. You need vision. Right now, where is your Recon?
Oh, it's dead. It's been long dead, and I don't build one for a very long time to replace it.
And you got a medium tank. So medium
yeah.
tank is really strong if it's assisted, if it's helped by other units. Now, this is a thing I've known for a while now. This detail I just told you. Like, don't build a medium tank if you don't see the map. And I say that, but sometimes I forget about it, and I do it. But that's the thing. You need vision. You need to know what's going on. And now, based on my experience with medium tank, I think in an army, usually one medium tank is the staple. Except if you're like Sammy or Grit, these two don't really want medium tank. Like, they will make a medium tank to counter another one, but even there, they will rather use like indirect and battlecopter. And this is very interesting because medium tank in itself are really good, but here's the thing. There are so many units that can really damage them and make them much weaker and lose a lot of value. So you just splashed 16k, but suddenly a battlecopter attack it and your 16k becomes 12k and your medium tank did nothing. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, I actually really like... Oh, go ahead.
Oh, add up. I'm wondering, what were you about to say?
Oh yeah, I was gonna say I think up until this point I didn't realize how weak medium tanks were to helicopters. I knew that they didn't do damage to B copters, but I didn't think the B copters were going to do so much damage in return. Like I didn't know it was such an unfavorable trade, which we'll end up seeing later on here because I just like park it on a city and I'm just like, haha, like heck your battle copters. I got my medium tank here, and then you just attack it and I'm like, what?
What happened?
No, that is literally like for anyone who's listening or watching, like literally the my experience with the game. I played this game when I was like 8 years old. I don't remember all the counters of the matchup, so when I see the battlecopter shoot my medium tank, I was confused.
So yeah, based on my experience, medium tank are a good unit, but if you have too many of them, you won't have as much presence on the field because you will lack tanks and battlecopter. If you have many of them, like I will tell you something, battlecopter spam will always beat medium tank spam because battlecopter are faster and they receive barely damage from medium tank. So the only really best way like to save your medium tank is some anti-airs. But then when you spend money for anti-airs, you don't have that money for tanks anymore. And anti-airs are vulnerable to tanks. So if your opponent is smart and he sees these anti-air, he will just pull back his battlecopters and they will chill somewhere else. The medium tank, he will try to run away, but he's so slow, like some unit will catch up or it can get trapped by infantry. So many things can really piss off that lovely medium tank. And this is my love-hate relationship with them. In every army outside of like Grit and Sammy and maybe Grim, these are like the 3 COs you don't really want medium tank with. Grim, it's because you don't care about tomorrow, and medium tank are like the kind of unit you build because you're like, I have a game plan, or you're like, I will kill a lot of tanks. Like Grim medium tank will just melt. They will melt. They will one-shot everything, but they will melt. So you don't want them.
For sure. Yeah. So, I think it's a really good point too that you brought up that that like the copter spam, sort of in general, will beat. Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead. You're in the middle of your idea. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, that like the copter and a tank will beat the medium tank, especially in fog.
Yeah.
And I think that's a really nice contrast because I'm sacrificing unit count to get this medium tank out, and you're pumping out the extra unit count, and I think that ends up being really felt later on in the game here.
Yeah. So as I said, medium tank are really strong, but don't get too many of them, and it's a more late game thing. And sometimes I do think about making medium tank to counter a Neo tank. Neo tank are really strong, but a medium tank will get good value if you're able to land that good first strike. So I think that closed the book for the medium tank, except if you would like to add something else.
No, I think that's great. I think that was really actually really insightful for me to hear that. Like I think we prefer a tank and a helicopter and fog rather than one medium tank. More vision, more mobility, just more pieces, more material to play around with.
Yeah.